Hello, everybody. It's me, Tyree, the Emcee, and today we have Dr. Raquel with us.
Hello.
I am both scared and excited to talk to you because I looked at your website last night and it's all about money, and then I saw all these statistics. Start at the very beginning. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're going to talk about at the Empowering Women's Expo.
Awesome. Well, it's great to be here. What I'm going to be talking about, what my work is about, is empowering women, especially around the topic of money, because traditionally it's been a topic that we've been not educated in, that we don't feel confident in, that we feel a little bit intimidated even sometimes. And I found that experience for myself as well. And so I thought this is something that I would like to help remedy, that women feel confident with money just as much as we feel confident in other aspects of our lives.
I'm assuming you're not going to really talk about girl math. Like, if I buy an expensive purse and I use it 100 times, then it's only $10 per use. I'm assuming that's not really what you're going to talk about. Okay, well, because I'm good at girl math, but the other math, saving for retirement, things like that. Especially if you are an entrepreneur, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs are coming to the Empowering Women's Expo.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about where we should even start.
Well, really, Tyree, the thing about taking charge of our finances, it really doesn't have as much to do with numbers as it does with just starting to have healthier habits around money. Meaning, for example, just the fact of having conversations about it, because it's still so taboo, right? It's something that is kind of scary. It's kind of like sex. Like, you're supposed to know what to do, but nobody wants to, teach you anything about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of figure it out as you go. And I think that there's a much better way to do it, right? Having conversations about it, facing our own situation. So just even looking at, our what's coming in and what's going out. Where are we actually spending our money? Because we're using money every single day. The thing is, are we being intentional about where that money is going, right? Is it going towards the things that we really want, or is it just sort of leaking out? So, things like that, looking at our statements, looking at, what, I'm looking at this statement and I don't understand what it says. Let me go learn a little bit more about these terms, or talk to a financial professional that I can ask questions and learn more about it. And that alone helps to build that confidence that I was talking about earlier.
And is that where you talk about financial literacy?
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I looked at her website and the thing that caught my eye was don't be a sucker. So, and you're so sweet. You actually gave me a bookmark and look, it says, stop being a sucker. So tell me a little bit about that and where that came from.
Yes. So the company that I partner with is called WealthWave. And WealthWave produced this book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. So it didn't originate with me. It was something that they came up with as they were publishing this book. And the whole idea of the book was to make financial education accessible, understandable, right? Instead of throwing a bunch of financial jargon that just makes you want to glaze over, it was, making it so that, people can understand what they're actually looking at. But the Stop Being a Sucker was an element to help just wake people up to the reality of, it sucks not knowing how money works, because we make a lot of mistakes, which end up, costing us a lot of money, causing a lot of stress, relationship problems, all manner of things that can be prevented. So it's just a way of getting people's attention and bringing that awareness to mind that we need to start understanding more about how money works.
I am going to be a grandma. My little baby girl is having her own baby girl, and I saw something on your website about $1 Million Baby. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Yeah.
You do not look anywhere near to be a grandma. But, the $1 Million Baby is essentially a proprietary program that was created for WealthWave folks. But basically it's based on the idea of that we don't necessarily have, a lot of us don't have the ability to generate a whole bunch of money that we can then bequeath to our children and grandchildren, right? It is much more practical and doable to start with something smaller and have that money compound and grow over the course of the lifetime of this young person. So if we start from birth, by the time they get to be retirement age, they're going to have at least $1 million, even with just a modest return. And that's the whole idea of it. It's beautiful.
Too bad I didn't know about that when my kids were. They're going to be all like, wait, hold on, you're doing this for our kids, but not for us? Well, that's the joy of being a grandparent, right?
Right. And when you know better, you do better, right? That's the thing. You do the best that you can with what you have, what you know at any given moment. But as you start learning more, then you have the opportunity to do something different. And it's what a beautiful gift that you can give to your grandbaby.
And finances, sometimes, I'm 48. 48 is great. And
Totally.
I have matured a lot. I think especially after I hit 40, I was a little bit more mature about how I spend my money. But even just, it was the other day, I realized, wait, hold on. What is this $49.99 that came out? I don't even know what this is. And I had signed up for a trial period, and it was already going to come out. It was going to be the third time that, and $50, that's a lot of money to come out. So sometimes, when we're talking about finance, things like that, I feel stupid and I feel shy, and I don't want anyone to know that I did these things. So is that something that you find in?
Oh my gosh, all the time. And that's part of that whole taboo, right? And to your point, I've talked to several women who have expressed that very sentiment of feeling stupid. I myself was in that same, place just a few years back. Like, this stuff is, even though I have a PhD degree, it's like, this stuff is over my head. But guess what? The very fact that you're able to bring that up, that's exactly what we need to be doing. You know what? I made this silly mistake and I want to correct that. I'm ready to do something different. I want to be smarter with my money, right? And again, having those conversations and starting to pay attention, right? What do you mean there's $49.95 coming out every month? And what is that? Oh, no, I don't want that anymore. Let me go ahead and cancel it, right? Because we can catch those things and then start putting that $50 to, hey, that could be going towards your vacation, your next vacation,
yes.
Right? Or, just something cool and juicy that you actually really want, or just building up that emergency fund as opposed to an expense that you're not, for something you're not using.
Well, and that's a good segue. So, say I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and lots of us are, gas is expensive, eggs are expensive, and so I look at the amount of days in the month, the amount of money in my purse, and it's not lining up. So when I'm like that, how in the world can I even start saving money?
Yeah. Well, that's a really great question. First of all, I think we all have more money than we think that we have, first of all. And it's, again, paying attention to where it's going, because sometimes we don't realize it, right? It's, $2 here, a Starbucks over here, the drive-thru over there, and it starts adding up, believe it or not. Now, that's one thing, right? However, there's only so much you can cut, particularly when you're not making a lot to begin with, and the expenses do keep rising with inflation, as you pointed out. And so part of what I talk to women about is expanding our means. Meaning what? Meaning, how can we create additional sources of income to expand what money is coming in, that we can do bigger things, better things, have the juicy, cool stuff that we want to experience and do and have and give to our loved ones. So it's also, creating sources of passive income that maybe are not passive now, but over time can be set to passive. So for example, like affiliate opportunities, or having another business, or being an investor in somebody else's business, or having real estate property, or but what we start with what we can do, right? And a lot of people, I think women are very resourceful, right? So we know how to side hustle, right? And so sometimes that's what we do, you know.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing: when it comes to our businesses, oftentimes, because of a mindset that we have around money, we don't charge appropriately, meaning that we undervalue.
Guilty.
Right? Me too. That we undervalue what we charge. And so that already means that we're cutting how much we're able to bring in. right? And so it's also partly looking at that too.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even know our own value, or we think, okay, well, because I do photography. So I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't have a photography degree. Should I really be paying $200 for a session, when I don't have a degree? But so I end up like, oh, $50. And it's not just that session. It then takes, the editing time and everything else and all your energy. And so I think sometimes we don't see our true value. Do you find that?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I want to help to change. And interestingly enough, right, they say that in the coaching space, they talk about this a lot, right? How you are your ideal client, just a couple of steps ahead, from where they are. And I myself, can relate to that. I'm still working on my money stuff, believe it or not, but I want to bring other women along with me on that journey. Like, let's get our stuff together, right? Let's claim the value that we bring into this world, and let's go make more money and not be ashamed to say, I want more money. I'm worth it. I'm going to make more money. I want to be a millionaire. I want to do all these cool things, and money allows.
It does. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
What are women going to walk away with?
Ooh, I think the biggest thing that I want women to walk away with is that feeling of being not only inspired, but feeling like I can do this. I can tackle this. It's not impossible. It's not rocket science. It's not a bunch of numbers. I don't need a finance degree in order to do this, right? And I don't have to do it alone. That's the other really big piece, because again, for too long, we've been kind of, keeping things secret, and it's time that we allow for support, right? And so there's fortunately more and more women in this financial space bringing this education, who are aware of women's issues and women's perspectives, and how women are impacted in their lives in relation to money, and bringing education, bringing that empowerment. So you don't have to do it by yourself.
Women don't like to be by themselves. That's the
exactly
whole reason why we have the Empowering Women's Expo, right?
That's
so that
it.
We can network and build relationships.
Yes.
So I love that. Can you tell me what women's empowerment means to you?
Yes. So to me, women's empowerment is about taking charge, taking control of our lives. And in regards to money, it's taking charge of our financial situation, not running away from it, not phoning it in and then putting it on spouse's lap or the financial advisor's lap and not getting involved. It is participating, it is actively making decisions, being intentional, and so that we can create the kind of life that we want to have for ourselves.
Good answer.
Thank you.
I love your answer. I'm so impressed with all of our speakers. Like I just spring it on the spot, and they are just like, ladies, you want to make sure that you come on February 22nd and 23rd to the Empowering Women's Expo, because you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to make you a better woman, better friend, better spouse. Don't miss it, for sure.
Absolutely. I love these opportunities to network and to learn from others, right? We all have various areas of expertise and wisdom that we can bring, and you don't necessarily have to have a degree to have acquired wisdom, right? But it's having an open mind and building connections, building relationships, creating support networks, and of course, continuing to learn. So the Empowerment Summit is going to be a fantastic opportunity to do that. I'm so excited to go in and not only share what I know, but also learn from the other speakers about what they know, and how that I can incorporate that and bring it forth into my work and keep helping people.
Do you find that when you meet with ladies that they may have excuses?
Oh, yes.
Like,
excuses.
I remember that when I was first with my husband, we're a lot more mature now. We both are like, oh, well, because what do you do when you get married? I mean, granted, I've been married for 28 years, so,
Wow.
Today marriage might look a little bit different, but we automatically we had a joint checking account, and, when you go get cash out of the ATM, There's a little number that it says you have this much money in your bank.
Yeah.
But I wrote checks. Can't remember the last time I wrote a check.
Right.
But back then, I would be writing a check and he would think that the money and the amount, that would be it. And then it'd be like, I had the excuse for a long time that I couldn't really take control of my finances because of my husband. Like, I would blame it on him, but we all know it was probably my fault because I probably buy too many shoes and purses. But I found that I was always like blaming somebody else for my financial shortfalls.
Right. And so I think that goes along with other aspects of our lives, right? Just again, going back to empowerment, it is taking responsibility for our own destiny. So whether we are in partnership with a loved one, right, and married or in a partnership, it's still having responsibility for our part of things and participating in the decision making and in the conversations, as opposed to, oh no, well, I don't want to know anything about that. Like, my husband can handle that stuff, right? It's definitely, I think, an important element.
So where would be the very first place to start? Would it be, looking at your bank statement and seeing where your money is going, or where would you begin?
Right. I think the first thing that I would recommend is making a date with your money. See, when you make a date,
it's not to spend it, I'm assuming.
No, not to spend it. So it's the element of making the idea of thinking about and dealing with money more pleasurable, or at least less uncomfortable, less stressful, right? Okay, we're going to sit down, we're going to do some deep breathing, we're going to do maybe some affirmations, positive affirmations around money. And there are countless meditations and books that give tons of ideas for this. Light a candle, just make the atmosphere pleasant. And then it's, okay, we're going to look at, okay, what's happening with these accounts? Where's the money been going? Logging things into a simple spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be a fancy app, although it could be. But to get started, it could just be, simply income, expenses. Where is the money going? Being aware of the situation. So in terms of, for example, insurance, life insurance, car insurance, home insurance. What are we paying? Are we paying too much? What kind of coverage do we have versus what isn't covered? What is going on with our retirement accounts? Are those accounts performing well? Are they growing? Is the money growing? Is it invested in a way that I feel comfortable with based on my values and so forth? Do I understand what the heck is going on in there? Who can I ask questions about this? So it's getting comfortable with making those things happen.
Yeah, so when I tell my husband, hey, I have a candlelit dinner and my spreadsheet.
Nice.
I am like the spreadsheet queen. So, even for Christmas, I'm that nerd that I make sure that all the kids get the same amount. So I do it to the penny on the spreadsheet. And so that way no one can ever say, he got more than me. So, I'm all about the spreadsheet. I like that.
Awesome. That's wonderful. You're a step ahead already.
For somebody who might be on the fence and they don't know if they should really come to the Empowering Women's Expo, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, the second you step in and you start meeting people, you're going to feel supported. You're going to feel like this is the right decision. I can't tell you how many women I've heard say, I've been looking to make more connections, and people are really hungering for that, is making connections. And when you put women together in a room, particularly women who are invested in learning more, in growing themselves as human beings, I think that alone is so valuable. And the relationships and the connections that you're going to make as a result of this, you never can tell, right? You don't want to look back in regret and go, I wonder what would have happened, maybe, possibly, right? Give yourself the opportunity to learn and to make connections and to create positive changes in your life. And this experience is one such opportunity to make changes. You never know what awesome things are going to come out of it. So I would really, from my heart, encourage you, ladies, please come, participate, and let's make friends.
Yes, like I have a new friend.
There you go.
Yes. And who knows? Maybe you'll stop me from buying shoes. We've had such a wonderful conversation, and thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. And I'm sure that there are some ladies out there that can't wait till February. They're like, February 22nd, that's too far away. How can they find you?
Absolutely. So I can be found online. I have a website, and it is howmoneyworks.com/Raquel Muller, and that's spelled RAQUELMULLER. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I'm on Facebook as Raquel Anaya Muller. That's probably the best way to find me.
All right. Well, ladies, this is, I'm serious. You do not want to miss it. The Empowering Women's Expo. It is coming up. Tickets are on sale now. It is in Hillsboro, Oregon, and it is February 22nd and 23rd. And I'm going to be there.
Oh, I'm absolutely going to be there with bells on, and I'm going to be inviting all of my friends. And yeah, see you there.
See you there. All right. So I was looking at your website, doing, a little bit of research on you. And I saw that there were some books on your website. And of course, the one that said sucker, that one is the one that caught my attention. But tell me a little bit about the books that are on your website.
Absolutely. So it's a series of books. The first one is the How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. That's the original. But we also do have a How Money Works for Women, Take Control or Lose It. That's the tagline on that one. And then there's also an ebook called Change Your Literacy, Change Your Life. And all of these books can be accessed through my website. You can order any or all of them. And I'm also going to have some copies available at the summit, at the event. So that's something that you can go to my website, again, howmoneyworks.com/Raquel Muller, and go to the tab that says books, and you'll be able to get them there. If you can't wait until February.
Okay. And how much are these books?
Well, if you were to buy them on Amazon, they're $17 or $18. But if you request them on my website, I can mail you a copy for free.
For free? Okay. You don't need to be good at girl math to know that that is a very good deal. So, if you don't want to wait, go to the website, get them right now, or you can pick them up in February at the Empowering Women's Expo.